passed away and my mind has been made new. The mind of Christ, be my guide, every thought I surrender to your ways. Every fear is broken by the power of your name. My mind is renewed as I place my trust in you. The mind of Jesus, to trust with you, no matter to routine, defender when chaos was your mind in the darkness must run. Jesus, to trust with you. And I'll fix my eyes on the reason why to be stand up on this truth. Has passed away and my mind has been made. So my
Stop now. I think you should the group of options.
Very soon. Okay, good. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to you all, wherever you are joining us from. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are joining us from. So, please, can you hear me? Okay. Can anybody hear me? All right. So, this is Hour of Transformation from School of Transformation and Empowerment. And I am your host, Ebenezer Uzochukwu. And welcome to today's episode of Hour of Transformation. Last week was our debut class or seminar, if you like, and we went as far as talking about the growth mindset. And today we are going to talk about something very interesting. But before we start, we are going to take a little rundown of what we did last week. Last week, we introduced the concept of the mindset and how our mindset influences our results, the kind of results we get in our lives. Our results and our experiences are affected by our mindset. So we also define mindset as, a set of belief system that guides the way we see life, the way we see ourselves. So we also said that a lot of things, a lot of factors influences the way we see life. And first of this factor is your family background. Your family background influences the way you see life, the kind of family you come from. In your elementary classes, you were taught in social studies that the family is the smallest unit of socialization. And that's very true because if you miss it in the family is more like a foundation, the foundation of the kind of mindset you are going to have all through your life. It starts from your family. And so if you come from a family that have a particular kind of mindset as a stronghold, sometimes they demonize it. That's when you hear that it's a generational curse. Yes, it can be, there is a generational cause and there can be a generational kind of mindset. So if you come from a family that they don't even see themselves as people who can ever turn out to do something good or something big in life, that kind of mindset will follow you. And sometimes there are kind of results that you will see. They will shock you. Sometimes you might have heard people say things like, I don't even know that I am going to be here today, or I am going to achieve a particular fate today. You know, some of these things are from the family. So if you miss it
from your family, there's already a problem. And then again, we also talked about the environment. Your environment also influences the kind of mindset that you would have as a person. Your environment, the culture of the place you grew up in. Sometimes when people move away from their environment to another place, there is this cultural shock that they usually experience when they move from one environment to another. And sometimes some people might not even adjust easily because of the emotional attachment we have with our cultures or the environment we grew up in. One of the reasons why people find it difficult to move to a superior kind of mindset is because of the emotional connection we have attached with our environments, our backgrounds, and the mindset that comes through it. There are kind of environment that you will find yourself in. The only thing that comes to your mind is survival. You will not even think of thriving. There are people that want to thrive, and there are people that just want to survive in their lifetime. Spot the difference. So, if you are coming from an environment where the mantra is just to survive, that means you also have a long way to go. And so, whenever you see people that are doing something remarkable and they come from a very corrupt environment and yet they did not allow the environment to influence them, you need to understand that there is a superior kind of belief they had that made that environment not to influence them entirely. And now, if you have a problem with your background, you have a problem with the kind of environment you are coming from, then there's already a problem. Because life is already hitting you 2-0. But the good news is there is always a way out, even if life is hitting you 4-0. So, and I will tell you the extent to which you will go, and you will now find out that life is actually hitting you 4-0. Okay, we said that the third thing that influences the kind of mindset that we have, or the third factor, is our association. The Bible says that evil communication corrupts good manners. And that is very true. Because if you have friends, for instance, you are 3 or 4 or 5 in number, as the case may be. There is this saying that you are the average of all your friends. And I will tell you how. Now, 5 friends that have been friends together for a long time, these 5 people are actually bringing their individual family mindset together. I repeat, when you have friends, how these people influences you is that they bring their individual family mindset into your friendship. And so whatever they believe and whatever you believe, the sum, in fact, the average becomes an addition to what you used to believe. I'll come again. I said that the average of your mindset, the mindset of your friends, adds to what you already believe. So if you keep on staying with those people, you keep on having their kind of mindset. Again, we also said that your past experiences and your exposure is also one of the factors that can influence the kind of mindset that you have. For any time you experience anything in your life, whether good or bad, it either increases or decreases your confidence level. Now, for instance, if you have been failing at something, you would come to a point where you will now believe that this thing cannot be done by anybody. And you will now start thinking that everybody's experience would be like your own, which is not so. So, your past experience influences the way you see life. Whenever anything happens to you, it adds to the way you have been seeing life. It can also subtract to it. So if you are somebody who have been having an ugly experience, maybe there is a business that you have been running for close to maybe 10 years, 5 years, and then nothing is working. Chances are when you see people who are succeeding in that business, you will either say that they are using jazz or they are using juju. Or there is sometimes people usually believe that you cannot be wealthy if you don't do bad things. It's a mindset. There are people who are very wealthy and they are upright, they are moral in their approach towards life. So if you try something very well and you fail, you might come to a conclusion that this thing does not work or that nobody can do this thing. It becomes a challenge. And that is why sometimes if you have ever wanted to embark on maybe a particular journey, if you start asking people ahead of you, sometimes you hear things like, you see this place, it's a no-go area. Nobody dares to go to this place or nobody dares to do these things. They are speaking to you, they are only advising you based on their past experiences. Some of them have tried those things countless number of times, but they didn't get it. Probably because they were not they were not applying the right principle. And so they will now judge their own experience with others. They will now think that their own experience is absolute to other people's experience. These people are themselves, you are you. So it's only your experience that is making you think that these things cannot be. So if you one of us have missed it from the family, some of us have missed it in our environment. Probably we came from an environment where we think that it is very impossible to achieve a great feat. Some of us have also missed it in our associations. The kind of people that you follow, they are not even helping your life. Again, some of us are missing it in our experiences because if number one, number two, and number three are not gotten correctly, you will be having bad experiences in life. If you don't get the family background, the environment, and your association, if you don't get these things, the experiences you'll be having in life will be ugly experiences, which will make you conclude that nothing works, or make you conclude that some things don't just work. And then we went ahead to talk about mindsets. Some mindsets are fixed, some mindsets are, some people have a growth mindset, while some have a fixed mindset. And those who have a fixed mindset, they don't believe that they can actually change anything about themselves. When people approach me and tell me that this is the way they are, they cannot change themselves, they cannot change the way God created them. Nobody is telling you to change yourself from male to female or from female to male. No. There are some traits that are intrinsic within you. Some of these traits will not help you. Some of these traits will not help you. And the best thing that you can do for yourself is to, edit that kind of threat or delete it entirely so that you will get to where you are supposed to be. The truth is that any vision or any goal you have for yourself, that you who is going to achieve that vision is also looking for you, but not this version of you. So to say that everything you are looking for in life is also looking for you, but not this version of you. Therefore, you need to grow. So when people come and tell me that they cannot change themselves or they cannot change the way God created them, I ask them one thing. Do you bring out a yam, immediately you harvest yam, you just cut it and start eating it? You cannot do like that. You can't even bring out your cassava and bring it from the ground immediately and start eating it. No, you can't do those things. You have to process it. You have to process it so that you can get to a point where you can eat it. The same thing it looks like for a human being. If not, there will be no need for you to grow from maybe when you were a child to an adult. This is not how you were when your mother gave birth to you. So, if you are growing physically, you need to be growing in your mind. If you are growing physically, you need to also be growing where? In your mind. So you don't just have to be growing in age. A lot of times when people celebrate their birthdays, I don't have any problem with birthdays, but just that sometimes I ask myself questions like, am I really growing? Am I just growing in age? Am I also growing in my mind? You know, when we were younger, we used to increase our age, but now, as you are getting older, you are tempted to reduce your age because you have seen that it's not all about growing by number. So even as you are growing by, by your physique, you also need to be growing in your mind. And the same way you eat food so that you grow in your body, the same way you feed your mind with some things, we are still going to get there. So the growth mindset is a possibility. This brings us to a question that people usually ask. Can I change my mindset? People usually ask this question, whether they can change their mindset. And the simple answer is yes. But this answer is dependent on a lot of things. This answer is dependent on the level of commitment you are willing to put in to change your mindset. And that will bring us to what we have for today. Today, I'm going to be taking us, it's going to be very short but powerful. I'm going to be taking us on transiting to a superior mindset. Transiting to a superior mindset. You know, whenever you hear the word superior, the first thing that comes to your mind should be that there is something lower than it. So when you say that another thing is superior to something else, it means that the superior one has more power than the lower one or the inferior one. So there is a level you will grow to, not by your physical growth. There is a level you will grow mentally, and you will start sustaining a superior mindset. You will start sustaining a superior belief system. There is a kind of belief system that you will sustain. You will never fail in life. See, sometimes people say a lot of things that they are not even convinced about. If you transit to a superior mindset, impossibility will not be found in your dictionary again. If you transit to a superior mindset, you will not even know anything called failure. When I mean failure, I don't mean failure as a person. You will not know anything called failure again. When I mean failure, I said failure as a person. But failure as an event can occur to you, and I will differentiate. Failure as an event, there are times you are, trying to do some things in your life. You have goals you want to achieve. You don't just achieve all these things straight up. There is a level of commitment you need to put in. Sometimes it works, sometimes it fails. And for anyone that works, you must or might have failed for a particular number of times. So that is called failure as an event. But failure as a person is when you fail and you give up entirely. So you need to sustain a superior mindset so that you will not fail in life. And how do you sustain a superior mindset? How do you sustain a superior mindset? Processes to sustaining or to getting a superior mindset. First, you need to be aware. Awareness or recognition of the fact that you are ignorant. And when I mean you are ignorant, I don't mean to insult you, whoever you are. If you want to transition from who you are right now to who you should be, first of all, there should be this awareness that first you are not doing enough, or there should be this awareness that the kind of mindset you have currently will not, get you to where you are. There is this saying that you when you know what is wrong with you, when you find out the problem, finding out the problem is already a solution. Do you understand? When you ask yourself, what exactly is the problem? If you find out, okay, this is the problem, that itself is the first step towards you getting your permanent solution. So you need to be aware of, first, the kind of mindset you have acquired as a result of your family background. Again, you need to be aware of the kind of mindset you have acquired based on your environment and the cultural practices in that environment you grew up in or you are growing up in. Thirdly, you need to be aware of the kind of friends you have been keeping over the years. You ask yourself, what exactly have I gotten from this friendship? And when I mean what you have gotten, I don't mean this selfish desire to, be in a parasitic relationship or friendship with people, trying to get money or no. When you have an association, your association should help you to grow. If your association is not helping you to grow, they are killing you. And it's just a matter of time. You will understand that they have been killing you over the years. So you need to be aware of the kind of people that you have been keeping. And then there should be this willingness for you to change your mindset. You should, make up your mind to change your mind. That's what the awareness does for you. And so, when we talk about awareness of your association, I want to say this before I move to the next point. Sometimes, because of the kind of emotions we have attached to our friendships or our friends, our backgrounds, our environments, we find it very, very difficult to detangle ourselves from it. We find it very difficult to move away from our environment. We find it very difficult to even lose some friends. And when I mean losing some friends, I don't mean you stop talking to them. When you have friends, there is what we call a crab mentality. All of you are doing the same thing. And the moment you choose to start doing another thing, it becomes a problem. They will start seeing you as somebody who is a rebel or a traitor. They will start telling you things like, we have been friends for how many years, and we have been doing these things together for years, and you now want to leave us. See, let me tell you one thing. So many people are going to leave you if you don't grow. And then, look at the catch now. When some of your friends start growing, they will start leaving your circle and start entering another circle. That's the reality of it. So, if you are already aware that your association is not helping you, that is the first step to you finding a solution to your problem. Again, after being aware of what the problem is the negative mindset that you have built over the years, over time. The second thing you should contend for is valuable information. Valuable information. I cannot overemphasize this. There is one thing people don't understand. The kind of information you consume. And when I mean information, people think that whenever we talk about information, you have to start reading a book, or information only means something positive. Information can be negative. When you put on your television to, watch the news or know what is happening around, that is information they are passing to you. When you open your social media platforms, it is still information they are passing to you. When you are scrolling through your news feeds, it's still information you are getting. And even this live streaming that you're watching now, it is still information that you are getting. So contend for valuable information. There is no way you will have a superior mindset without enough information, enough valuable information per se. Many people are not very intentional about the kind of information they consume. And I will tell you why. Because, they are not yet intentional about their lives. Because once you start getting intentional about your life, you will start getting intentional about the kind of information you consume. Now, there are gateways to the mind by which our mind trap information. First is your eyes. Secondly is your ears. If you are not very intentional about the things you watch with your eyes, there are chances that you will keep on having a negative mindset. If you watch resourceful materials, if you listen to resourceful materials, resourceful podcasts, you would have a positive and a superior mindset. Because over time, you start to replicate at default what you have been hearing and what you have been seeing. Sometimes, when you see people, you don't even need to ask them what they have been up to. The kind of results they get will already show you what they have been up to, what is in their heart. And, there is a way the mind works. Let me say this. The mind is not just a thing. The same way so many parts, make up your body, so many things also make up your mind. So your mind is like a repository. What you give it in is what it also gives out. Giggle, garbage in, garbage out. So if you are feeding yourself with fear, if you are feeding yourself with negative things, if you are feeding yourself with immoral things per se, with time you will start replicating those things. For instance, someone that grew up here in Africa understands what a masquerade is. Some of you are even in the masquerade kingdom of your village. Now, there are chances that after watching a masquerade dance and stuff like that, you can have a dream where a masquerade is pursuing you. But someone who was born and grew up in the West, in the Western world, who has not even seen a masquerade in their entire life, there are chances that most often you can't have a dream where they are being pursued by masquerades, because they don't know what these things are. It is not stored in the repository of their mind. So any information that you take in, it is going to constitute the way you think. So if you keep on consuming wrong information, if you keep on consuming corrupt information, that is the way your heart will be. So be very, very careful of the kind of information you consume. Your social media platforms, there are people you are following. You shouldn't be following them based on where you are going to. There is something I usually do basically every week or every weekend per se. I usually edit the people I am following on my social media platforms. I don't just follow people because they follow me or because we are friends. I don't do like that. I make sure there is a reason why I followed you. I follow you based on the kind of content that you post. And if for any reason you start defaulting, you stop, uploading those kind of contents that made me to follow you, I will unfollow you. This is how intentional I am to sieve the information I get. Some of you, let me tell you one thing. If you spend from now, eh, until your entire lifetime, you cannot consume the contents in the internet today. I repeat, you see the internet today, the contents in the internet today, if you spend from now until the day you leave this world, your entire lifetime, you cannot consume the information or the contents on the internet. So why not make up your mind on the kind of lifestyle you want to live? Make up your mind on the kind of people you want to follow and follow those people. Consume their content. Don't just follow people because others are following people. Don't just follow people online because they are your friends. What do you learn from those people? Now, sometimes I usually tell people that I can, from the kind of song you always listen to, I can detect your mood, which can be so for many people. Because when someone is happy, they play more songs that make them happier. When someone is sad, they also try to put themselves in that mood of more sadness, probably by the kind of songs they listen to. And I read some years ago that the genre of song that you listen to influences your lifestyle. In other words, if you are a kind of person that listen to street songs, you'll be prone to doing violent things. Because let me tell you one thing: as you are consuming those songs, consciously or subconsciously, they are going, like, you are consuming them whether you like it or not, and they are becoming part of you. And again, you have to understand or create your atmosphere. There are atmospheres that will not help you to transit into transit to a superior mindset. Rather, what do? Sometimes, if it's an environment you want to live, you can live, you live there. Sometimes we go out and hear things that changes our lives, and we come back to our environment, we come back home, and we still find out that our environment is having more influence in our life. It happens. So what do? You create your own atmosphere even inside that environment. It is possible. And how do you create that atmosphere? Making the one, the one you focus on, when it is very, very concentrated, your external atmosphere cannot influence it. So everything comes from within. Again, is shunning negative mindsets. If you want to transit to a superior mindset, you have to shun negative mindsets. You have to shun what? Negative mindsets if you are going to transit. Because the truth is that your family background, that mindset will follow you. That's just you need to understand it. It must follow you wherever you are. So when you see people pull out from a mindset that has been holding their family for years, for many generations, they put in so much work. Whenever, have you ever wanted to do something, you consult your family members and they tell you, you see, nobody has ever done this in our family, and we don't think anybody can do it. That's just the way we see ourselves. And you believe it. See, the truth is that everybody cannot have the same experience in their lifetime. And the experiences you have in your lifetime will be determined by the kind of mindset you have possessed. So if you don't shun negative mindsets, you would still be getting results. Even as you are seated doing some things, there are thoughts that are always coming to your mind. There are things that you want to do. Now, sometimes you want to do these things, and your mind is telling you, this thing is not possible. Oh. Remember where you are coming from. Where you are coming from, people don't achieve this kind of results. So, and then instead of you to shun that mindset, you allow it to live in you. No, you don't entertain those kind of mindsets. And how do you shun negative mindsets? By the second point I said, knowing the kind of information you expose yourself to. If you have been told that nobody does this in your family, no problems. They have told you, you are aware of it. Remember, I said earlier that awareness is the first key. You are now aware that nobody does this. So you have a target. You don't need them to keep on reminding you that nobody does this in your family. You don't need them to keep on reminding you that nobody has ever achieved this in your family. Yes, they have said it. And then let them allow you to do your own work. So you need to understand that even though some of those things have not happened in your community, in your environment, and you want to be the first person, it is still possible, but you have to sustain a superior mindset. You have to shun negative mindsets. You have to shun the negative information that they keep on giving to you. There are places you will go to, and they will tell you that, nobody does this at this particular age. Some of the things we demonize in this part of the world are mindsets. Because they have told you that nobody does this, nobody can achieve this, it is in your mind already. It becomes a stronghold. You don't even see, demons don't even need to come again, because before they come, they are already seeing a mindset that is more superior than them. They will just leave you and allow you to battle with that mindset. And that is why sometimes, even when people are delivered from some things, from some evils, if they are not given the right information, they will still return back to who they used to be. And that is why, even after you making decisions, making up your mind that you don't want to do anything, you don't want to do some things, you don't follow it up with positive habits, you will still find out that after some time, you will return to who you used to be. In other words, for you to show negative mindset, it's not about waiting for them to come and you say, no, you negative mindset, I rebuke you. No. You have to consume things, because those valuable information that you are consuming serves as a repository. So whenever you have something to think about, that is where your thinking will go down to. Your thinking will go down to the information that you have been consuming over time. So if you have not been consuming valuable information, your thinking will not find anything meaningful to think about. Your mind will not find anything meaningful to think about. But if you have been consuming valuable information, your mind will see something to think about. Let me tell you something. When after your whole day, when you want to go to bed, or before you go to bed, sometimes you can, sit down or lie down and think about how your day went, how you met this person, how that other thing happened to you. Now, you are only thinking the things that happened to you. You cannot think outside what actually happened to you. That is the same way it is. Your mind has a repository where it goes down to bring up thoughts for you. I know why I am hammering on this. This serves as the basics after you have attained the level of awareness that you need to change your negative mindset. There is a need for you to possess a superior mindset. The information, be very, very careful of what you consume. The information you consume will only be what will help you, a tool for you to shun negative mindsets. Read books. This is no longer a time where you must have a hard copy book for you to read. Some of these things are on your phones. Some of them are on your laptops. Listen to podcasts. Watch resourceful videos. Have mentors. Follow the right people. There is this saying they used to say, they usually say, follow who know road. The same thing I'm saying to you. Follow people that know road. Follow people who have done what you want to achieve. Find out what they are doing. Again, you need discipline. You know, if you want to sustain a superior mindset, you need discipline. With time, I would make a separate we will make a separate series on discipline, consistency, and intentionality. Discipline is something that people don't like to hear. We abuse the word discipline. At the same time, there are only few people who are disciplined in their approach towards life. Just very few people. So when people make noise that they are doing this, that they are doing that, I just laugh, and I know that it's just about time they are going to separate the men from the boys. Discipline is what actually separates men from boys. Discipline is what will make you to be consistent in your action. Discipline is what will make you to stand out from the crowd. When you start contending for a superior mindset as a result of your background, when you start a process, you are doing it daily, and as you're doing it daily, you are watching your progress. As you're watching your progress, sometimes you will falter. Sometimes you might stop. That will help you to continue. Discipline fuels consistency. Because if you are not disciplined at doing something, you cannot be consistent at it. Discipline in sitting down to read. Discipline in sitting down to learn, just like you are learning now. Discipline in sitting down to watch your mentors speak or teach you about life. You have to attain a level of discipline. Discipline to listen to tapes countless number of times, as much as you can. You know, sometimes people ask me, why is it that maybe after going to conferences, when you are in the conference, there is this fire in you, there is this burning desire in you to start doing something. And then at the end of the day, probably when you get home, just give it a day or 2 days and everything will die off. All the fire that you have been catching in that conference or in that program, seminar, it dies off. People ask me, why does this happen? The answer is very simple. There is something that actually ignited that fire in you at that conference center. There is something that is igniting that fire in you right now as you're watching this. Always stimulate that atmosphere. Always stimulate that thing. Now, the simple answer is this: learn to reread, learn to rewatch. Just like we are having this broadcast now. After this broadcast, learn to watch it over and over again. Listen, the goal of watching something or repeating something is not for you to just be aware of it. No. The goal of repeating something is for it to go into your subconscious. The goal of listening or watching this broadcast over and over again is for it to sink into your subconscious. The same way that if you maybe there is maybe an artist, you don't like the artist for reasons known to you, you don't like a particular artist, but you are hearing his song constantly. You go to the mall, you are hearing his song. You go to school, you are hearing his song. You go marketplace, you are hearing his song. And then all of a sudden you find out that you are singing this song. You did not sit down to learn this song. You did not tell yourself, okay, I want to learn this song. But all of a sudden you are finding yourself singing the song. There is only one explanation. The explanation is that you kept on hearing it until it sank into your subconscious mind. That is the same thing you do if you're actually learning. If you want to possess a superior mindset, you have to learn the act of repeating processes. You have to learn the act of rewatching videos. You have to learn the act of listening to tapes over and over and over again. There are tapes that I've listened to in my life more than 100 times. The goal is not for me to just know what that person is. At some point, you can even know when the person said something. The goal is not for me to know at what minute you are saying anything. The goal is for those things to sink in me, because as those things sink in your subconscious mind, you begin to exhibit it. It's garbage in, garbage out. If you allow those things to sink in you, with time, you begin to exhibit those things. That's why if you want to change somebody, sometimes you don't even need to start talking to the person, because if you start talking to the person, chances are most times people will not listen to you. But just bring them to an environment that will influence them. Don't tell them anything. Bring them to an environment that influences them. With time, you see them, they will start doing those things. The media understands this. The entertainment industry understands this. And that is why they use their tool very well. So you need to understand that if you want to possess a superior mindset, you have to be disciplined. You have to attain a level of discipline. Discipline in what you do, discipline in what you watch, discipline all around, and intentionality. So, attaining a level of superior mindset is not something that you just sleep and you wake up, you find out that, okay, I now have this mindset, I now think like this. It's an intentional journey. It is something that you have to be very, very intentional about. It is not something that, you think that maybe you are thinking luck can get you those things. There are some results that luck will never get you. So you have to be very, very intentional about them. Again, you need to be aware of the kind of people that start coming into your life the moment you start making this decision. Remember, the people you are looking for are also looking for you. The things you are looking for are also looking for you, but not this version of you they are looking for. So the moment you start being intentional about these things, you also need to be intentional about the kind of people that start coming into your life. Because the universe has a way of, bringing those people that are doing what you are doing close to you. That's why sometimes whenever you start thinking about a particular kind of car, a particular color of car, when you go out, you start seeing that car. Not as if that car has not been there before, but just that your mind has started thinking about it, and it's bringing it to you. So the moment you start being intentional about this, about your association, about the information you consume, there is a kind of people that will start coming into your life. You need to be aware of those kind of people. You need to treat those people judiciously. And that will be it for today. I will conclude by saying this. I will leave you with this. The information you consume plays a greater role in the kind of mindset that you are going to have. This information can be through the social media. This information can be through your school. It can be from your friends. Just be mindful of the kind of information. Not every video you will watch. Some of these videos, you watch them and you attract negative things to yourself. You don't attract negativity to yourself by watching those videos, but because as a result of the thoughts that will keep on coming to your mind after watching those videos. And when those thoughts start coming into your mind, you will start thinking about it. And now that you're thinking about it is what will start producing that result, whether positive or negative. The media understands this. Whenever sometimes I tell, whenever you want to convince somebody to do something, you don't have to necessarily coerce that person to do it. Just gradually talk to the person, gradually make the person keep on talking about it, or even before you approach that person and finally say it, start giving the person signs. You talk about it maybe through a visual representation, through your voice, tell the person about something similar to it. That thing you are doing is a seed you are planting. You are watering the ground. When you now tell the person your intention, sometimes they will not even have option than to you know accept whatever decision or something or thing you are telling them. So you need to understand that the media is a very powerful tool. And because most things that we do today are you know done, we get our information from the internet, the social media, we have to be very, very careful. It is on social media that people learn a lot of things. I will not start saying some of the things people learn on social media here, but you know those things. It is on social media that people see the things they are not supposed to see. And some of these things are what actually corrupted the way they think. So beware of the kind of information you consume. I'll leave you here for today. And if there is any question, if you have any question, you can ask it at the comment section. You can ask any question at the comment section. If there is any question, you can ask it at the comment section and let me answer your questions. This week, this month, we are going to be working on our minds seriously. Next week, we are going to have another power pack series, another power pack talk about our mind. You need to understand what your mind can do for you. The mind is a gift that God gave man, that is going to take man ages for man to understand that gift. So, any questions? Okay. Thank you for your comments. No question. And this is where we draw the curtain for today and this week. And please do not forget to share with your friends. What you are learning here, you also need to share with your friends so that they will also learn with you. Sometimes when people start, some of these businesses that they will tell you, bring one person and they will tell you to pay a particular amount of money and bring 10 people so that they will pay you. That's the only time people start inviting their friends to do some things, because they are getting their money is dependent on the number of people they get. So now you are not getting any money, but share value with your friends. And see you same time next week. I am your host, Ebenezer Uzochukwu.
Darkness must run. Jesus, you triumphed.